My sense is inflationary pressures in the economy are low. If inflationary pressures are low, there is every justification for lowering interest rates. How much more we'll be able to lower interest rates is a big question. One has to look at that carefully. I think RBI will have to balance inflation and the need for growth both at the same time. But again, coming back to growth, I don't think that growth has not happened just because of interest rates. I think interest rates could be just one factor which people may have in mind. But I think a far bigger factor is capacity utilization. And as capacity utilization increases in industry, we will see more industries being established, being set up.
So the credit cycle has literally stalled. We had binge lending, infrastructure projects didn't go well, banks settled NPAs, right? Raghuram Rajan gets involved, etc. He's out now. What's going to happen to these NPAs? Before that is resolved, you really can't have the credit cycle start again and therefore the capex cycle, can you?
In my personal view, the NPA issue has been overblown a little bit. See, we have to understand that projects had got stalled for a period of time. It's not that this is something which has happened in the last 2 years. It's a legacy which has happened over several years and is not going to get resolved in the next 2 years or 3 years. But a lot of these NPAs are NPAs which will automatically get resolved once the investment cycle starts picking up.
How much do you think GST will add to growth? I mean, the final numbers obviously are not out yet, but I'm sure you've done modeling at HDFC.
GST will add a bit to the to GDP numbers. Probably add 1% or 1.5% to GDP numbers, but that would come over a period of time. It's not going to come in year one. It will probably come over a couple of years.
And for your, say, target market, the Indian middle class, average age of
37.
somebody who takes a home loan mortgage is 37. What would GST mean for them?
I think it depends entirely on what the rate is. So it's too premature to talk about that. But if there is more buoyancy in the economy, automatically buoyancy will lead to more demand. People buy houses because they can see in the Western world, people buy houses when they're in their 20s. In India, people buy houses in their 30s.
If the potential continues to be so good because of the demographics, etc., for India, because physically there is an undersupply problem, when do we get to the issue, or when do we start seeing REITs in India? When do you, names like HDFC, get the opportunity to start securitizing this huge cash flow that you have?
I think it's only a matter of time. The government's been providing some incentives for creation of REITs. There were 3 or 4 technical issues which were surrounding REITs, and that were the reasons why REITs were not being set up. Out of these 3 or 4 issues, most of these issues have got resolved. There is only one, a relatively minor tax issue which people are waiting to resolve. So a lot of people are talking about REITs. 2-3 people who I know of very closely are looking at establishing a REIT once this tax issue
Would they be
addressed.
developers, or?
Some of them are developers, some of them are financial investors. And yes, since we understand the real estate market, it's something we can certainly look at ourselves in the course of time.
When do you see REITs actually becoming a reality in India? Are we months away, years away?
No, I don't think it's years away. I think it's at best a year away. I would say it's back. I would be surprised if 12 months from now we don't have some form of a REIT structure in India.